How we doing, people? We're back another day, another dollar. Myself, me, and Lee Judges are here to talk all things football. We're going to touch on England. We're going to touch on Arsenal. We're going to touch on transfers. But I must say, first of all, I have seen a fantastic tennis match just now. Wimbledon. It is great. Competition with the women's this year is fantastic and phenomenal. I didn't see any of it yesterday. I was busy. But today it was good. We're going to touch on the tennis. We're going to touch on England. We're going to touch on Arsenal. But first of all, Lee Judges, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm all good, all good. Buzzing after last night. Really good day today. And yeah, everything's a little rosy in the garden at the moment, isn't it? Like, what a great couple of days, Dan. I've got to say that. Like, and that tennis game now, I'm sorry. I actually quite like Paolini. I really do. But she shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Like, she was out two breaks down, and then Key's got that injury, and it don't happen very often when the person that's winning gets injured. You know what I mean? But like, sometimes you need a little bit of luck. And I have to say that all the close decisions went her way, right on the line. And that's Willie for her, and it was out when it was just unbelievable. Like, it was, but at the end of the day, fantastic game of tennis that was. I have to really, I didn't know how that was going to go. So unbelievable, So a really, really good game of tennis, and Wimbledon's hotting up now, getting close to the end. What a Sunday that's going to be, by the way. Wimbledon final. The cricket ain't going to go much longer, so that we're not going to have the cricket, and then like the final later on in the evening, So if I don't know what. I think it's a barbecue day, isn't it? If you're not,
it's got to be, isn't it? Yeah, it's got to be. If the weather's out, that of course. If the weather's out,
barbecue day.
Yeah, Wimbledon men's is going to be Medvedev, Alcaraz, and then Mercedes got Djokovic. I mean, Djokovic still there. It's crazy, really, isn't it? But he just still keeps going. And then obviously you got the women's. But let's talk about England last night, mate, because that was incredible ending. I mean, I did not see that coming. I think most people thought that at the 90th minute it was going to be going extra time and penalties again, and I think we should do it. I think we should say well done and big up to Gareth Southgate, because actually I thought the subs were spot on. I thought tactically he was pretty good. We looked a hell of a lot better. It's the most creative I've seen us, most attacking I've seen us, most free-flowing that I've seen us. Still a bit, if I'm honest, a couple of players I didn't think that. I mean, we can talk on Kane in a bit, Trippier and stuff like that. But for me, I thought there was some positives. And he threw on Ollie Watkins and Cole Palmer, and they did the business, mate. And we're through. We're in the final, Lee.
Yeah, and listen, we've all been critical of Gareth Southgate, and rightly so at times. You know what I mean? I've always said that England should win this tournament. I think we've got the better players, a better squad. It looked like at one time he was messing it up, but I think in the last couple of games, and when it's really mattered, knockout stages, he's learned. And I felt that the substitutions yesterday, should I say, were the correct ones, the right ones, and it got us over the line. I thought first half we was brilliant. I thought we was really at it and should have been probably more in front. I think like 1-1 was a bit harsh. But then I have to say, credit to them. They changed the system, he made a couple of really bold decisions himself, but he got them back into the game where I think it was only a matter of time before England scored. But he put it back into nail-biting situation. There was a couple of times when those crosses come in, I'll tell you, I was nervous. But we defended well. And then what a strike from Ollie. What a strike that was. Unbelievable, And last minute, no comeback from that, And wow, in the final again. And I think in the last couple of games, Gareth Southgate deserves a little bit of credit. And I'll tell you why. Because if you listen to the noise and listen to all the people, would be saying get rid of Saka. But he kept faith with Saka and he delivered. And I know people are saying about Harry Kane, whether you like him or not. At the end of it, for me, he kept faith in him as well. He scored yesterday. I know, probably want one of his better games again, but pressure penalty, took it, scored it. And whether you love him or hate him, Harry Kane, he does score goals. It's 2 in 3 games now in the knockout stages. So I think it'd be ridiculous if he does drop him. But for me, 60, 70 minutes of Kane. If you can't do it, bringing on Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney. Wow, what an option that he's got. And I have to say, like, credits are for Southgate. He really has. I don't say he's won me over. I don't think. Can I be really honest, Dan? I don't think he's ever going to win me over. If I be really honest, but I have to say that he has contributed to us winning the games in the last couple. Got to say that.
Yeah, he absolutely has, mate. And I must say, I likewise have given him credit last night, but I haven't given him credit in the other games. And I think it's fairly. Like, if I would have said to you now, England ain't got to the final, mate, you would have gone, oh, no, who did we lose to? Was it France or was it the Germans? Was it the Spanish? We lost to Switzerland, or we lost to Slovakia, or we didn't get through against our group stage with Serbia, Denmark and Slovenia. You'd be sitting there pretty concernedly, wouldn't you? But, so every single game that we've gone into, I expected us to win. And I was no different last night. So the only one I was worried about was Switzerland, for the pure fact that we were just playing so badly. But on paper, we should never have been anywhere near losing any of the games that we've been drawn against. Now is where it becomes interesting, because we get Spain in the final, who I think are better than us, who I think are favourites for it now to win it, who I think will cause a lot of problems individually and as a team. I think their midfield is the best around at the moment. There's 5 or 6 of them in there that I really do feel could walk into many, many teams. So what do we do? Now, do we keep it the same? Ollie Watkins was thrown on. Does that get him a start? Palmer was thrown on again, made an impact. Does that get him a start? Is Luke Shaw fit enough at 90 minutes to go left wing back? These are decisions he's got to make. Now, I've got to say this, Lee. I don't know about yourself, bruv. I personally thought last night the best player was Kobbie Mainoo. I thought he was outstanding. I was so impressed with him as a 19-year-old. I wasn't too impressed with Declan Rice, I have to be certain. I wasn't too impressed with Drew Bellingham either, actually. I don't think either of those had their best game. Not that they're going to win every game that we play. But would you make any changes at all? And do you think that Gareth will make any changes at all in this final?
No, I think the only change you might make is Luke Shaw, but I don't. I would keep it as it is. It's got us to where it's got us, and I think it'd be harsh if you left someone out there for the final. I'm with you. I thought Manu was the best player on the pitch for us yesterday. I thought, they're all saying Foden. Yeah, first half Foden was brilliant, but second half he wasn't. I thought Kane had probably his best game, and I have to say, I big up Mark. He's won in Spain now. Get those old Madris in, Mark. I don't know. I really like Madri, so
I like Madri as well.
No, I don't know if I should be drinking him on Sunday. I might have to change. I'll have to see, So but I thought Mayo was the best player. I thought Declan Rice grew into the game, got better as it went on. Had a dodgy first 10, 15 minutes, obviously, with the goal. But I felt that our midfield was as good as anything. That would be the only position on the left-hand side. Now, people are saying about Harry Kane. We all know I don't like Harry Kane for his Spurs connections, what he's done. But I think that, it'd be very, very harsh to leave him out. And I don't think Southgate will. I think that he'll go with the same side. I think that probably like one half Trippier, one half Shaw. That guarantees that, fitness-wise. But I'm gonna be really honest. People keep going on to me about Spain. I thought they were fortunate to get past Germany. Germany had some good chances to win that. They hit the post, and then had good chances in that game. And France, in the second half, I thought were a better team than Spain. I do. Again, missed chances. I just think that England are the better team. I know that they've played the better football. I get that. But their front guys, I don't think as good as our guys. You know what I mean? I've got to say, 16 years of age is incredible. I've got to say that. But, I wouldn't swap him for any of our players at this moment in time. I really wouldn't up front. I'm going to say it now as it was on in the semi-final, Dan. Substitutions will be key, and when he makes them, he made them at the right time, I felt, yesterday. A couple of people said, it could have been a bit earlier. Yeah, it could have been. But when you score in the 90th minute, I got to say, it's the worst time to, isn't it? It's the worst. But if it's on for you, it's the best thing to score a last minute winner. You know, they ain't coming back. They ain't coming back from it. And you know, look, listen, people going to me, oh, last minute winner, you're lucky England and all that. Well, Spain got a last minute winner in extra time against Germany. Who knows what would have happened in the penalty shootout? So I just think we've got more options than other teams, Dan. That is the thing for me. Like, you know, there could be even, you know, like Spain have not really got a top centre forward. And he could be injured now, like, you know, so we'll have to wait and see. But I just think England have got, you know, would Watkins get into Spain? I think he would. Would Tony get into Spain? I think he would. They'd all get into most teams in Europe, and they're not even getting game time. Palmer, would he get in? I think he'd get into most teams.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at with that. We've got so much like talent. Eze, as we've been talking about him over the last couple of days, didn't even get a sniff. Bowen not had hardly a kick in this time. Gordon, since he's fallen off that bike, he ain't had a kick. You know what I mean? Like, unbelievable.
Trent.
So yeah, it's like, you
Trent,
know,
like Trent ain't kicked a ball really.
Trent,
much, you know?
Trent has hardly kicked a ball, like, you know. So look, listen. I think at the end of it, you know, Southgate has probably rode his luck a little bit, and we've had a little bit of luck. I'm going to ask you the question: do you think it was a penalty yesterday or not?
No.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. I don't think it was ever a penalty, if I'm honest with you. Some people will say, oh, that's a free kick anywhere else on the pitch. Some people will say that he didn't get the ball. I thought it was incredibly harsh. I'll take it, Lee.
Oh,
it was incredibly harsh. And I actually felt a bit sorry for him because Dumfries cleared the one off the line. He hit the post with his header. He's doing everything he could to try and make up for it. And I actually didn't think it was a penalty. Great penalty from Harry Kane. Absolutely superb penalty from Harry Kane. About all he did. But yeah, great penalty from him. I've got to ask a question though, Lee. I have problems at the moment with Harry Kane because, and I don't have a problem with Watkins and Tony coming on and doing what they're doing. Harry Kane's going to start. There's absolutely no point asking the question, would you drop him? Do you think Gareth will drop him? He will not drop him. He is going to start. He is going to captain us in the final, 100%. But I've got problems with him because he's never in the box, mate. He is so deep and all wide. He's putting crosses in sometimes. He's playing alongside Rice when in and out of possession. I'm really confused about what he's trying to do and where his position is at, if I'm honest with you. So I've got a problem there. My other problem is if we play Kieran Trippier, that Lamine Yamal will have an absolute field day. It will be fun for him. Trippier's not been good at that position. I would play Luke Shaw or Saka there. If you don't want to play Saka there and you don't want to play Luke Shaw for the full game, then maybe you play Luke Shaw and start him there, and then you bring Trent on and put Saka over at the left wing back and Trent at right wing back. There is options, Lee. So I just don't think I mean, he's going to play Trippier. I just don't like him there. I know he's been a bit better in the last couple of games, but I just don't think he's good enough there, if I'm honest with you. Not really his fault, because I think Trippier's been a phenomenal player over the last decade. But the problem you've got is he ain't a left back. You know, he's struggling there, in my opinion. So that's my thing there. I've got to see Rice and Bellingham a bit more. I thought Foden become his old self. And Saka again, like, I just love this kid, man, so much. I know everyone thinks, oh, he's a Arsenal fan, he's going to, but he's been so good for us this tournament, I think, Saka. You know, I really do. I honestly think he's been one of the bright sparks. And along with probably Mark Guehi and Kobe Mainu, I think he's right up there as being one of the players of the tournament, you know. The other thing on Harry Kane is if he actually does score and Danny Olmo doesn't, he actually wins the Golden Boot, which is crazy because he's been stinking out the joint. But actually, he could walk away with a Golden Boot. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't think we'll beat Spain because they're so good. However, it ain't played on paper, as you've seen already. And we could do this, Lee. Yeah,
listen, I think you got made some valid points there, and I think like the one on the left hand side is key. Where they go and defend from that, I get what you're saying there, and you know, Luke Shaw might have to come in and listen. Football's ruthless, isn't it? Like, you know, there's no sentiment in there, and so that could well happen. Harry Kane, you are right, hasn't played very, very well, but you know, 2 goals in the knockout stages, you can't knock it. And that to me says it all. I didn't think he played well again yesterday to the Harry Kane that we know. I don't know what is actually wrong with him, if I'll be honest, but there's certainly something not right. And the other thing that I will go is, and I'll say it again, is Jude Bellingham as well. I don't know if it's because they play in Europe and they play like they don't seem to get a rest. I don't know what goes on, but he looked out of his feet yesterday. And I've been disappointed with Jude Bellingham. I'm a big fan of his, but he's not been at his. There's been criticism of Foden, but I think Foden stepped up yesterday when it mattered. Jude was on the periphery of that game, and I was actually saying, like he needs to come off, like more than Foden. But at the end of it, like he could do something. I suppose that's why I like that fact that if you look at it, Southgate turned around and said, "Right, I'm going to take off. I'm going to take off. I'm taking him and him off and I'm going to keep with Saka and Foden because they're likely to get a goal." And I get that. There's more chance of them scoring than probably the other two there, So that position there, I think, is the key now. I think that they sit down and go, do they go with Trippier? Do they go with Shaw? And you're right. If Shaw can only last sort of 60 minutes, which I'm pretty sure in that intense environment, that's all he can do. What do they do after that? Do they bring Trippier on, or do they bring Trent on and swap Saka over? Or do they go with Trent to start off with? I'm in the case that if I was managing, I'll probably go with the same system and then probably look to get Shaw on later on and freshen it up and see how it goes from that point of view there. And the same with Harry Kane. There's one of my mates, Spurs mate, funny enough, texted me at day and said, "What do you reckon about Harry Kane coming into not starting and coming on at the business end of the game, like when it could be going like into extra time and into penalties when you need it." Good point. Very, very good point, to be fair. But I don't think, like for me, the game can be won and lost in the first half or, I don't know. So it is a difficult one. I think if you was to leave Harry Kane out, it would be a real massive decision. And listen, can I dare say it? Ronaldo, it's the same sort of situation with him. If they're managing, like Martinez had a little bit more about him, could he have took him off? Maybe they would have got through. So you have to give Southgate credit, and whatever Southgate does, I'm going to back him on it, Dan. You know what I mean? I actually got to say, I've been impressed with him in the last couple of games, Southgate. I can't believe that I'm saying that, And, Sophie, Sophie Rose Chelsea, bless her, going and I do love her, but she turned around and said, bring Cole Palmer has got to start. So I said, yeah, great. In place of who? In place of who?
Right. Sorry, I thought she was. I was waiting for an answer. She hasn't got an answer. Then.
No, right. I get it. Right. You're going to play Cole Palmer. Who are you taking out of that team at the moment? You can't take Manu out of the team, Manu. You can't take Declan Rice out of it. You can't drop Foden. Bellingham maybe, but you ain't going to do that, Dan. You're not going to get rid of Kane, and you're certainly not going to drop Saka. So where does he play? Where does he play? This
is what I mean. People can say Cole Palmer should be in this side, but they can't give you who for. Like for me, I've got to say this. I think the only change I would make personally, if Shaw isn't fit, I wouldn't play Trippier there. I just wouldn't. I don't think that's the reason that we're not looking great at the moment. I just don't think he looks comfortable there. And the times that I've seen Shaw and Saka over there, we've looked more balanced and we look better. So I personally would do this. Trippier would come out of the team and Saka would play in that position. And Saka would no longer be on the right wing back. So Trent would play. That's what I would do. That's the only thing I would change, to be fair, because Manu and Rice has worked very well. Foden and Bellingham have got back into the side better. Foden certainly has in the middle there. I don't like him on the left at all, if I'm honest. You can make a decision on Harry Kane, of course you can, but I think he starts and then you just do what you've been doing. And if he doesn't have a good game, then you bring on Watkins or Sony. And you've got both now who have actually both contributed. Palmer, likewise, he can come on and make an impact. So, to be fair to Gareth Southgate, in the last game last night, I was impressed with how different things were on the pitch in terms of how we started. I thought we looked better. I know we went 1-0 down. That was a mistake by Rice, really. He don't normally lose the ball there either, does he? You know, I was quite disappointed. And then obviously we get back into the game and he flings on the subs when needed. Now, I was expecting it to go into extra time and penalties. It might do against Spain, who knows? But I do think that we're going to have to bring a performance. It's going to have to be a monumental performance, I think, to beat Spain. They're going to be very, very tough to beat, mate. And, you know, I know you've mentioned about Germany and how they were in other games, but I have been the most impressed with Spain in this tournament. Like, they've impressed me more than any other team, Spain.
Look, listen, I concur with that. I agree, but like, I just think that England have got better players. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
great point. What Ian says there, like, you know, why can't you drop Foden? I agree with that, but not after yesterday. I thought in that first half, you know what I mean. Listen, he was playing that well, Foden. I agree. He's been a very, very fortunate to be able to continue going there. But you have to back the manager and give him credit that he's backed Foden like he's backed Saka, like he's backed Kane. Kane's delivered. Foden delivered in that first half. It was only the fact that Holland changed their complete way of playing to stop him getting on the ball and doing what he's doing, like, you know. And I thought, you know, that Spurs player that they think's the best player in the world, like, you know, Mickey van der Ven, he didn't put a foot wrong yesterday. He didn't put a foot wrong. You know, like the best thing since Tottenham's new stadium, like, you know. Absolutely blinding performance, you know what I mean? Like, didn't he? Didn't put a foot wrong.
I must say, I hardly even saw him on the pitch. He was that good. Yeah, that is a bizarre. That is a bizarre one, mate. I like that, Lee. That's got me. I wasn't expecting that one. So well done. Yeah, no, listen, England deserved it. Gareth Southgate deserved it, and fair play, because there was a lot of pressure on him last night, Lee, as well, Southgate. So he delivered. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him on Sunday, that's for sure. I think he's going to leave whatever, if I'm honest. But if we win or lose, but yeah, I think I just so badly want us to win it, mate.
I'll ask you a question, like, and I'll ask this in the chat now, like, you know what I mean? If England don't win it now, has it been a success? Has he done well this tournament now, or are we still thinking that he's not good enough?
No, he's not. You can't call it a success. You can't. Okay, so when you say England got to the final, you think, bloody hell, they must have done well. When you look at the route to get there, you can't say they've done amazingly well, because we have got across the line against teams that we should be beating comfortably. Now, I would argue that a better manager would have won us a tournament already. I still stand by that. I still think that if you give this team to a Pep Guardiola, to a Jurgen Klopp, to a Carlo Ancelotti, to a Jose Mourinho, even to an Eddie Howe, I would argue they would probably have got us across the line, because I think their management style is better. Now, some people might think that's harsh because they like Southgate. That's fine. And maybe they wouldn't. We'll never know that story. But when you look at the route to how Southgate has got there, you cannot heap too much praise on the bloke. You can just say, well done for getting us there, because that's the fact. The truth of the matter is we haven't blitzed these teams by 6 or 7, have we, each time? We've gone through on penalties. We've gone through in extra time. We've gone through in a last-minute overhead kick. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been quite lucky of how he's got there, is what I'm trying to get at. So I don't think he doesn't deserve credit for how for getting us there and how he's got there. But I don't think we should be lauding him, is what I'm trying to say. Is just say, well done, he's won us it. He's proved people wrong. He can get England across the tournament, and I still think he should go. And if I'm honest with you, if he wins it, he should definitely go, because you leave on a high, don't you? Right? We've seen managers before go, we'll stay one more tournament, and it's gone wrong, or one more year. In Wenger's case, 2 more years. It's gone wrong. So I think really they should be leaving, which is, I think, what Ten Hag should have done at Man United, is get out of there as quick as he can after winning 2 trophies. See you later. So I think Gareth Southgate should do that as well. But I have to be honest with you, bro. If I'm putting money on it, it ain't on England. It's on Spain in the final. I don't know about you, though.
Yeah, listen, I think you make, again, some really good points there. And the one thing I will say about Southgate, in his defence, is that he has got like a sort of club mentality with the players, you know. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any clicks or whatever, like, oh, this Man United players here, Man City players here, Arsenal players here, whatever. They do seem to be have come as a togetherness, which a manager has to do and has to manage that, and he's had to manage some big egos in there as well that are not playing, but he's done that. So I'll give him credit for that. But I'm with you. I think that any half-decent manager would have got us to this final. Because the teams that we've played, the best team probably played is Switzerland. And come on, like, you know what I mean? Switzerland are quarterfinals at most. They're not going to go on and win tournaments, and we're playing teams at this moment in time that are not going to challenge any of the big boys. So, and I do agree with you. I think that we should have won the Euros last time. Should have got to this World Cup final, losing to Croatia. That was another poor performance from him. And now he's got this one to make it up, like, you know. And listen, we've had to rely on some very, very late goals and some class finishes. But that's football, Dan, you know. So I think at the end of the day, if I was him, I'd look at it and go, well, I don't think I can do any better than what I've done if I win this now. I can go out as a, you know, someone with a special name to him with winning it. I think that it would give him an opportunity to get another job somewhere else with that on your CV, Dan. So I think it's a really interesting debate. But I'm sticking with it. I've said it all along. I think England will win it. I think that I think you'll be surprised after Sunday that I think we'll win it a little bit more comfortable than what people are saying.
Wow. You fancy us to win it? I'm going to say Spain. I'm going to hope England. I'm going to hope England do.
I think that Germany calls them all sorts of problems. We've got better players in the Germans. I will, you know, like people will hit me and say, well, the Netherlands, you know, cause us sort of problems. I always felt that we was going to win that game yesterday. I really did. I didn't think we was going to win against Spain against Switzerland when they scored. But I also think that they give up chances, Spain. So listen, it's going to be a really intriguing game. At the beginning of the tournament, forget about what you've seen now, and if you was to go back to that first game and you said, right, who you having as your favourite? Who are you having to win the Euros? I don't think a lot of people would have said Spain, Dan.
No, not at all. Everyone said France or England when I spoke to them. So, you know, no one said Spain. I think Spain have impressed. Also, your expectations change through the tournament, don't they? So Spain, for example, now is everybody's favourite to win it. Well, they weren't at the start of the tournament. I think what I will say is Flawless made a really good point on my channel a couple of nights ago. I totally understand why people will question England and say, well, you know, not everyone can win it. The golden generation didn't win it. He made a fantastic point. In the golden generation, England were never favourites to win the competition. Ever. 100%. Never were. Right? When France won in 90, you take away Greece in 2004, which was one of those Leicester winning the Premier League type moments, yeah? Every other tournament, England were not better than the ones who won it. They weren't better than Brazil. They weren't better than France. They weren't better than Spain. All these times that we've gone into tournaments, we have never been near the favourites. And when we have under Southgate, we still haven't won it. So I understand the 11 might be better in the golden generation, and it probably is. But the squad weren't better. The squad's best now. Attack-minded wise it is. So I think that's probably the best way to answer it, really, is that we've got to get across the line.
And I'm going to be really... I think in 2004, we would have won it if Rooney hadn't got injured.
Yeah, he was class when he was class.
That was, it was, you know, like just come on the scene there and he was just smashing it. But we had the likes of Gerrard, we had the likes of Lampard also in that team. Rio Ferdinand wasn't there. Do you remember I think he was suspended for that one. It was John Terry and Sol Campbell. That was a bloody good team, but he was just unbelievable. He was just unstoppable. Then he got injured and we just wasn't quite the same. So I think we might have won it. I actually was in the position that I am now, thinking that England could win that. And then when Rooney got injured, it weren't to be. And he was sensational in that. If you go back,
he was so good, wasn't he? Yeah, he was class.
So good. We produced some brilliant performances along the way in that tournament there. Like, you know, 96, we was Not
that was the one. That was the one for me. It was the first one I remember, and I thought we were going to win it. I really thought we were going to win it.
But as you say, all the other times, if you look back at 98, right, now to get to the final, that time, England played Argentina, right? Now, Argentina obviously knocked us out. But say if we'd gone past Argentina, we'd have played a prime Dutch side, prime Netherlands, right? And if you remember rightly, the Dutch knocked out Argentina. And then we would have played a prime Brazil in the semi-final, right? That's how you get to World Cup finals, and you know what I mean. Not playing like Switzerland, Slovakia, and Slovenia and Denmark all the way through it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how to do it. Tough, and then and we played, and France were on the other side of the group. Who were fantastic, as you know, went on and won it. But they had Ronaldo, who was on fire in that tournament.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, I don't know, but something happened to him, and you know, Brazil never come out and played on that day. But before that, if you can remember it, the game between Brazil and Holland was breathtaking. Went down to penalties. It was an unbelievable game of football. We would never live with a team like that. This team now wouldn't live with that. Then you look at 2002, we come up against the Brazilian side in the quarterfinals that had a certain Rivaldo in there, Ronaldinho. Ronaldo. They had some players in that team. Roberto Carlos. You ain't never going to get past them neither. Like you know, what I mean, and, you know, sprinkle of that. You go into the 80s, you had like fantastic Argentinian side in with Maradona, Platini, and people like that, and Van Basten and Ruud Gullit. Like you know, this time now, you even look at Portugal over the years. Dan, when we lost to Portugal on penalties, they had Ronaldo prime. You know, you're playing against Ronaldo in Portugal now when he's 39. Romario in '94, what a player he was.
Romario was outstanding, mate.
Christ, you know,
Brazil, that Brazil team, right, between the late 90s to the mid 2000s, is my favourite. For me, for me individually and as a team, I thought that was as good, if not better, than the Spain of 2008, 2010.
Well, Spain, we haven't mentioned them.
We haven't mentioned them yet. You know, how good were they? And it's incredible.
How good were they?
Xavi and Iniesta and David Villa and Torres and Fabregas and all these players. You know, but for me, that Roberto Carlos and Cafu, they had Lucio, they had Rivaldo, Denilson, Ronaldo as in R9, Ronaldinho. That team, man, that for me, that's the one I used to love. I grew up on that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was what I grew up on.
Unbelievable.
That was phenomenal. That was
the best side I've ever seen never win the World Cup was '82. Oh my God, what players that they had there! Then Zico, you won't remember him. Zico,
before my time.
Socrates, Eder is his name, I think. Eder, Falcao. Oh my God, the list goes on. You know what I mean? And they're just like unbelievable side. And the end of it. These, you know, you look at Brazil now, they're a shadow of those sides, Dan, a shadow of those sides. And when you think about it, Argentina, all right, they're probably going to win another trophy and all that, like, you know, they're playing with a Messi that's past his sell-by date in the terms of when Messi was in his, you know what I'm saying, like, you know?
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. And yeah, I think we do sometimes forget the talent. I mean, the talent in the 90s and 2000s.
Oh,
where's it gone, man? Like, it hasn't continued, has it? You know, I've mentioned this quite a lot, and people say, "Oh, it's just your age. You always think it's better when you're younger." But I don't know. I can't find any evidence to suggest that there is any more players around. We struggle at the moment. We've got Mbappe, who's supposed to be player of the tournament. He stunk the place out.
Oh.
You know, like we're supposed to have we've just named what we named there five teams there that we can remember that were better. We can't even name 5 players in this tournament that are at that level. Do you know what I mean? So,
exactly that. I look at the French team like that won it in '98 when we talk about that side. We've spoken about how we was on the other side of the group, but when you look at that, like, you know, they had Zidane, they had Vieira, they had Henry, they had Perez, you know what I mean? Like in going into that.
Petty and Makaleli, didn't they? Petty
they won
Makaleli, Zidane and Vieira in the midfield. I mean, that is ridiculous, isn't it? All four of them.
Unbelievable. I think that they went for, I know they won the World Cup with Giroud and all that, but they won it in 98, 2000, they won the Euro, 2002, they didn't, I think, in 2006 they got to the World Cup again, like an unbelievable little era of French football. And then you think, right, well, okay. Then Spain come along, and not only that, there was teams like Croatia that were smashing it, getting to semi-finals of World Cups at the time. I don't know if you remember in '94, a little team called Bulgaria. Do you remember them?
Yeah, 94. I was very young, 7 years old.
They smashed the place up. I think they got to the quarterfinals. So unbelievable side. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so, you know, we're a little bit fortunate to be where we are now, like, you know, in terms of what's out there for us. Like, you know, as you say, like France, really good defensively. They had some very, very good defense. But up front, they only had Mbappe. After that, they had no one.
This is the thing, when you're naming like players now, you can tell the 90s and 2000s and late 2000s was better, because they always pick a player from there and go, he's better than him, isn't he? Ain't Neymar better than Ronaldinho? Ain't this Lamine Yamal going to be better than Messi? Ain't Mbappe going to be better than Henry? No, they're not. None of those players are going to be better than Messi. They're not going to be better than Ronaldinho. And Mbappe, I don't think, will be better than Thierry Henry. And that's just the way it is. But a lot of people that are younger want that to be the case, because obviously they're growing up in it, and their generation, they want it. They want Mbappe to be better than Henry, but he's not going to be. Do you know what I mean?
Sean remembers that Bulgaria team, like, you know what I mean. So
there we go. Look at that.
Yeah,
he's named them as well. Look,
he's named them. It was a header from Lechkov, wasn't it? Like, you know, Michael was. I think it was against Germany. It's an unbelievable goal. You know, like 84, Platini and the French team, damn, were sensational. They had sensational players like going through Tigana, Platini. You know what I mean? That was an unbelievable side. And just wonderful. But I said it on a thing. I think I said it on Forever Arsenal. People laughed at me. I'm going to say it now. I'll say it on here. I think Mbappe's a fantastic footballer, but I don't think he's as good as what everybody makes him out to be. I don't.
So the reason I'm going to agree with you, the thing is, people make him out to be one of the best players they've ever seen, and he has not done anything yet. Let's be real. He has gone in one league and he's tore it up. Let's see what he does in the Real Madrid shirt. Yes, he's won the World Cup and he's done it on country level. Club level, you can say he's done it, but who hasn't done it with PSG? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a very, very good player. I look at him and I do think he's in the world-class bracket, etc. So I'm not saying he's a terrible player here. But when people try and compare him with XY, I'll say now, I think Vinicius Junior is better. I do. I think Vinny Jr. is better than Mbappe. I don't think Mbappe is the best player in the world.
He done well in the World Cup final.
Of course he did. Unbelievable. They've all done brilliant things individually and on the international stage. I don't know that Mbappe is going to be Ronaldo and Messi level. If I'm honest with you, Lee, I don't think anyone's going to be Ronaldo and Messi level.
No.
You know what I mean? I think them two.
He's in the Bergkamp Henry bracket.
That's fair.
Off sort of players like we talked about, Zico. You know what I mean? Like quality players, but not in the Maradona, Pele, Messi, and Ronaldo.
Yeah, there you go. Zidane. He's not as good as them.
I don't think he'll ever get to that level. If he does, fair play with him, but I don't think he will.
No. Listen, it's a good convo, man. I didn't expect to be on it this long, but, you know, it is what it is, and it's been a good one. We keep it flowing. Listen, people, there's almost 400 of you in here. Make sure you do me a favor, because we do not have enough likes. At the moment, we are only just over 100 likes, so that needs to get up to 200 pretty quickly, please. It is the click of a button. It is absolutely free, and it does so much for the channel. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel as well, because we are very close to 40K, so please be a part of the community. Hit the subscribe button, which is also free, and you can join us. Listen, judges, let's talk about Arsenal. Selling spree, I've called it. The reason I've called it a selling spree is because it looks like Arsenal are going to get some players out before they get them in. The ones that we're trying to get in keep stalling and delaying. Now, I don't think there is any problems with this Calafiori deal, but it does look like we are trying to negotiate deals and trying to get him done for a bit cheaper. But certainly we do want to get some out the door. Tavares is the first that looks like he's gone. We mentioned yesterday on loan to Lazio, which actually is a really good move for Tavares, to be fair. £7 million obligation to buy, which I think is fine because we get our money back for him after next season. Nketiah to Marseille, Lee. What do you think of these rumours, brother? That's a bit of a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah, strange one, like, you know what I mean? But listen, they're looking out for someone there. If I'm going to be honest, I'd like Eddie to stay in the Premier League. I would, and go to someone in the Premier League. But sometimes you don't get those offers. We'll have to wait and see. It may be that going over to France, banging in loads of goals over there, could enhance his reputation. For me, though, I'd like to see Eddie, go to a team in the Premier League. Smith-Rowe, what I'm hearing is that Fulham are getting close to sort of like agreeing that now, like, which would be again a better move for him than going Germany or France or whatever, like, and of course we spoke about Nelson yesterday, like, but I think like things after Sunday, I think things will start moving really, really quickly, like, the Kiwior one. This is a really interesting one because, if we do sign Calafiori, what's his name?
Calafiori, yeah.
Calafiori, which I understand looks like it's all but agreed, but that what the trouble with this deal is, what I'm hearing, and I'm not in the know person, as you know, but it's because of the buy, because Basel have got some sort of pay thing, and that's what's causing the problems at this moment in time. But if he does come in, like, something's got to give, and it looks like it's going to be Kiwior, which is a shame, really, because he's never been able to quite show his talent, really, for me, like, But I think that Arteta's looking at it that he needs someone that can play that left back role probably a little bit better than what Kiwior can play it. Then that's how I see it. So,
yeah, I think Kiwior is the guy that looks to be leaving because, and simply put, Italian clubs are after him. And the reason Italian clubs are after him, I think, because we bought him from over there at Spezia or whatever you call him, he was doing really well. He ain't really played at centre back, Lee, for Arsenal. A couple of games, and then he went over the left back and he couldn't invert. He had a shocking game. I think it was Luton, PSV, and Fulham, where he was away, where he was absolutely terrible. And then we got Ben White inverting finally, and he was actually all right again. I will say this, that I don't think he's a bad defender. I don't look at him and go, wow, you're a shambles. I don't think that he's got some of the best ball playing ability, if I'm honest with you. I don't think he looks as comfortable on the ball as some of our other defenders. But I don't think that's the reason we're letting him go. I actually think it's because he's the one that people want. Nobody wants Zinchenko because he's been poor. But people want Kiwior because he's still got that kind of potential and started to show a bit of quality throughout this season. So I think that's why we're looking to get him go. We bought him for, I think, 20 million. If someone's coming in with 25, I think we'll sell him, if I'm honest. I think we will. And that leaves Calafiori to play left-sided centre-back with Gabriel. I imagine it will be Saliba and Timber or White that play the right-sided centre-back roles. And then obviously Timber, White and Tomiyasu on the right-back role, and Timber and Calafiori at left-back with Zinchenko there as well. So we kind of have got enough. I do worry sometimes about that right-sided centre-back, which I've mentioned before to you. But if, we're going to have to play one of the guys over there, if Saliba gets injured, so be it. But I don't think we'll be buying any more defenders, Lee, after Calafiori. Do you?
No. That'd be it. That'd be sorted and done early. Then you're going to have to look at what goes on further forward. It'd be really interesting what other teams do as well, because like Man City haven't really got rid of anybody at this moment in time, and Tottenham, I was speaking to one of my Spurs mates yesterday, they're struggling to get rid of players, it seems like, So all in all, this I'm glad when the Euros is over. I'm going to be really honest, because it then straight away gets down to transfers, and then we're buzzing, looking forward to the Premier League, and. I think within the next week or so we're going to have a lot more stuff. And realistically, the one thing I do find a little bit strange, and I don't know how you're feeling about it, is that players like Tavares, Eddie, Smith-Rowe, Nelson, all of those players, they've not been in the Euros. So why haven't they not been sold? Is it because other things are going on? I don't really understand
Good point.
why that's
Yeah,
not
good point.
happened. You know what I mean?
And I also do think, though, Lee, that there is something about getting all your players back, taking a look at what you think you might need. And because there's so many over at Copa America and at the Euros, I think they are just waiting for those to be done so they can then look. And there's also a bit of a domino effect as well, I think.
Yeah.
You're waiting for someone to move so that they can then go for this player and that player. That's what I can only put it down to, really. But the good thing about some of these players that we're going to talk about just quickly is before we wrap up, right? We're going to get 100% profit on a few of them, mate, because Eddie Nketiah is Haaland boy. So is Reece Nelson. Smith-Rowe, we're going to talk about. There's a lot of interest from Fulham with him, apparently. I think we are going to get good money for those, and it will be able to be spent on areas of the squad that we need to upgrade and improve on. But I wanted to talk to you about Smith-Rowe because I was having a chat with Curtis earlier on my channel, and we both agreed we'd rather see Fabio Vieira leave than Smith-Rowe. If Smith-Rowe does go, do we kind of need to look at that position as well? So what I mean by that is he covers for Ødegaard at the moment and sometimes in the left 8. If he's sold, we already need a left 8. Do we then need another attacking midfielder as well? Or do we put our faith in Fabio Vieira or Ethan Nwaneri who might come through?
Well, if I'll be really honest, Nwaneri would be more than Vieira at the moment. Vieira's been a disappointment for me. Yeah. I know he's had injuries and all that, but this is a massive, massive pre-season for him because he's got to really. I'd like to. How can I say it? Walk in and watch a pre-season game, and he's like bulked up, and he's a lot. It's a bit like what Eddie did. You know what I mean? Like I was surprised and shocked. Like, whoa, bloody hell! Eddie's bulked up. That's what I want to see in Vieira. I don't want to have that labelled at him. He's a bit lightweight. He's a bit that. He's got to come in now and hit the ground running in this pre-season, and people go, "Wow, I've seen something now," and he's going to start delivering. Because at the end of it, he's got to do it. He's got to do it, like, you know. And he's in last chance saloon for me now. And as you say, like, and Curtis, you've got great points here. You know, Smith-Rowe's done a lot more for us. Mm-hmm. Than Vieira, so there's a little bit more loyalty, I suppose, from us for Smith-Rowe. But from a business point of view, you're not going to get your money back on Vieira. You know, it's going to be 100%, as you said, with Smith-Rowe. The injuries are the big problem for me. Like, you know, if Smith-Rowe can get a pre-season under his belt, who knows? And we might see a different. It'd be really interesting to see what happens with these two players. Really, like, you know.
Do you think Vieira is the worst Arteta and Edu signing so far? I don't want to be too harsh, but do you think he's actually been one of the most disappointing? Because we spent 35 to 38 million pound on him, and we're 2 seasons in, and we ain't seen what he's about yet.
Yeah, I've seen flashes. And I think he's a good player, but I haven't seen nothing concrete and all that. Now it's very difficult. Getting into a position when you're a squad player and all that lot. But no, I wouldn't say he's been a complete and utter failure yet. But this is it now. You know, I've expected more. I've expected better, if I'll be really honest. But you know, I think the name gives him, like, people like him because of his name. Yeah. You know what I mean, like things like that. But he's got to start delivering now, and not just being on the back burners of games, you know. I mean, I think he's got to take you know, he had a good game that time against Brentford. You know, when he scored, it was I think Ødegaard didn't play that day, and he walked off the pitch, and you turn around and say, "Well, we didn't miss Ødegaard today." That's what he's got to do when he comes in, you know, and he's not done it enough. And you know, I want to see a marked improvement for him, because if we don't, then I think he's in last chance saloon. I've said it and I'll say it again. You know what I mean? Like, this is make or break season for him. Yeah,
absolutely. I must say that there's a couple of other players that are linked with a move away. Reece Nelson being one of them. I think he does have to try and get first team football. I've got no doubt that there will be a Premier League side that comes in for him. West Ham are interested. There was rumours that Forest were interested as well. and Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace have got some players that are potentially leaving, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did sniff around Reece Nelson. I think he's got potential to have a really good career still. I don't think he's old enough to be worried about how long he's got left. I think he's only 24 years old, so he's got definitely some potential still as well, and can play on both wings. And I think that's really importantly that he can actually have a number of positions, Reece Nelson. If there was a West Ham, for example, that could play him right and left, I think we've got a real good chance of getting him. But what do you think of selling him? Sorry, what do you think is the kind of reasonable price for him? Because there's a lot of people that are suggesting now, looking around, we've got to try and get 35 million for Nelson. I think we'll struggle to get more than 20 tops.
20 is a fair deal. 20. I think, like, if you look at it, Smith-Rowe 30, Eddie 30, Nelson's 20. That's £80 million into the coffers.
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
No, it ain't bad. That's pretty good. Add another 20, that's Kiwior, that's 100. So, you know, we've got 100 million from players that really ain't done much at Arsenal. When you look at it like that, and we might even get a bit more, you know what I mean? Then, you know, I think if we could be looking to get 120 to 150 million for all of our players that we're going to be selling, I'm including Ramsdale, Tierney, Tavares, Lokonga, all the players that are going to get a few million here and there. I think you add that to your budget, you've got potentially over 300 million to spend there.
Yeah, and then you get 3 big players in.
There you go. And I think that's how we'll
end it. And I think that's what they do. I think that's what we want. I think that's what they do.
Yeah.
I really do.
I would be absolutely amazed if there's not a shock that happens as well this transfer window of Arsenal. I've never looked at. I've looked at it so far, and I thought there's not one there that so far that I go, there's your Declan Rice signing, go and get him. So I think there'll be a shock one. I really do. I think that we'll wake up one morning and we'll go, bloody hell, Arsenal are getting him, or Arsenal will link with him, or Arsenal. I honestly do. I don't know who it's going to be, Lee. I've got no idea.
I'm with you, and I'll tell you, it won't be like, we'll link with him, we've signed him. That's what it'll be. You'll wake up and go, bloody hell, we've just signed so-and-so. Arsenal signed so-and-so. They've agreed to deal with this. I think that's what will happen, and I think it'll be very, very quick within the next week or so.
Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. Listen, we're going to leave it there. Make sure you do me a favour, people. Hit the like and subscribe button. They're absolutely free. We're close to 40k. We've got to get 200 likes. We're about 170, I think, 160. So we need a few more. Let's make sure that we can get up to that target. We will be back. We're going to try and do this every single day for you guys. So make sure that you do stay tuned. If you want to see more of myself tonight at 7 p.m, I'll be over at Football's 12th Man on my channel. I've got a great panel talking about all things transfers of all clubs. So that'll be really good. And there's a good panel. So make sure you join us over for that one. And Lee, I'll let you see us out, bruv.
Listen, hopefully, like, no drinks tonight. All drunk. Too much yesterday. Strawberries and cream. Get over, watch the Wimbledon, and have a good night.